bonsoir and welcome back to Canada. The sun is setting over the bleachers. We're running a little bit late. It's just shy of 7 p.m. But all eyes on these 6 cars because it is the ARX2 final, round 5 of the ARX2 championship here. Thank you very much for joining us on the live stream. You all know, if you've been following the action all day today, we've had a lot of Rallycross, and the beauty of the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières is that you have lots of different action on track right now. There's quads racing each other, and they go into the infield and do big jumps. So that's spectacular for the crowd, but meanwhile the drivers are trying to get focused, ready for the final. Let's see if we can have a quick word with Fraser McConnell, who's got himself on pole position. I guess you're just getting yourself focused, ready for the final, Fraser.
Yeah, no, getting ready for the final. All 6 cars, as I said, are going to be placed from the intermediate. So we got top qualifier. We're heading out onto the grid in pole. So it's going to be really important to get a good start and carry the pole finish to a podium finish.
I couldn't actually hear your answer because of the quads, but I'm going to ask you, what do you think the track conditions will be like now?
For sure drier than the last heat, last heat because there's no semi. Last heat definitely drier, but there's going to be a lot of holes, so punctures are going to be a concern, but also you're going to have to balance speed versus being cautious with punctures, so it's going to be tricky.
Well, good luck. We know that Fraser has got a very good team behind him. In fact, there are 2 extremely successful and experienced Rallycross drivers as part of the team. I know it's quite hard to talk because of the noise of the quads, but these 2 guys, if I was Fraser, I'd be very pleased to have these 2 guys on my team. Can you tell us what you're doing for the team?
Yeah, we're out here helping Team Fras and Dirtfish Motorsport, doing what we know about light cars, and yeah, he's won most of the heats and driving really well out there, so it seemed to be working.
Now, obviously, you always get asked this question, Oliver, but I'm sure you'd rather be working behind the wheel of a car, but it's so impressive that you just, both of you, work really hard all year round, doing your jobs, and then every now and again you get a chance to drive. And certainly last time we saw you in Sweden, you put in an amazing performance to win a World Rallycross event.
Yeah, for sure. So it's a different experience this time, but I still enjoy it. I think you can learn a lot even from the side and with the technical bit also. So it's important for a driver to know how the car works, and that we get to know by working like this.
And give us a word about Fraser, because you guys know what it's like mentally and physically to get everything together for a good day or a good weekend in a Rallycross car. Talk about him a little bit. What are you impressed with him?
Yeah, he's pretty new, you know, into Rallycross. He just started last year in ARX, so you know, we have some experience from the sport. We just try to help him as much as we can, and with the car as well, we know the setup pretty well, and working together with Dirtfish seems to be a very winning concept. You know, we're leading now. Fras does very well every race, so yeah, there's no complaints. We're just enjoying it.
And does he listen to you when you give him advice?
He tries to, but it's one thing to say, and it's a different thing when you actually try to do it. So it's easy to stand on the side and point out what's wrong, but it's not as easy to be in the car and do it.
Now, you're both Rallycross winners, but just give us a sense of how good it was to get the redemptive win in Holias last time out. Your 5 years of hurt finally vindicated.
Yeah, for sure. I waited 5 years to get a new chance. Obviously, we came close into 2014, so it feels nice to 5 years later come back and to be able to win.
I hope to see you both in cars again soon. See you later, fellas. Good luck. Thank you. So, that was Billy just walking backwards into sorry, my friend. Are you okay? No injuries? Right. I hope he doesn't sue me for that. So let's see if we can grab a quick word with Connor Martel. I'll let Billy go in first. Connor, it seems like quite a long time to be sitting in the car waiting to drive, but gives you a chance to focus and center yourself ready for what could be a great battle.
Yeah, definitely. He said 10 minutes like 10 minutes ago, but you know, I still get to, you know, hang out. I was listening to music on my buddy's phone, so yeah, it gives me time to debrief everything and think about the track. So yeah, it should be interesting. It's going to be a totally different track than just the last race, so we'll see what happens.
It looks like it's going to be quite dry out there, which could help. Are your brakes 100% fixed?
Yeah, well, we changed our tires to slicks because we knew it was going to dry out a bit, and hopefully it was a good choice because, you know, only this back turn here had water on it the last time around. So we're just going to have to see what happens. Yeah, brakes are still the same, so we'll see what we can do.
Okay, good luck. Thanks, Connor. Let's walk down here. In fact, let's see if we can get a word with Gray. I've not spoken to Gray Ledbetter yet, but I feel like it's been a massive learning curve this weekend. Gray, sorry to disturb you. You can see that you were relaxing. I just wanted to have a word to see how you're feeling. Like today feels like it was a big learning curve.
Not even necessarily a learning curve, it's just been a process today. Q2, the whole car shut off, we don't know what happened there. Then in Q3, the throttle stuff, which that could have been a possibility from happening because of what happened in Q2 with the car shutting off. But I don't know, we'll see how we do in the final. Just try to finish, get through, maybe pass a few people.
And then do it all over again tomorrow.
Exactly.
Good luck.
Yeah.
So that's great. So that's what's interesting about today is because there's only 6 cars in ARX2. If you spin round, we've got 6 cars, no semi-final. So no matter what happens in the qualifying, as long as the car's still going, everyone makes the final, which is very, very good. So hopefully the quad bike race. Let's come and have a look. Watch. Come on. So we should be able to see the quad bikes nicely sweeping the road for the so I'm kind of hoping that they're getting close to their last lap, but that's the kind of action that's the kind of action you can see if you come to Grand Prix Trois-Rivières. And hey, there's a whole day of it tomorrow, so if you're within 4 hours you could easily get here and come and join the fans in the grandstands. But right now we're gearing up for our ARX2 final, so I shall hand you over to our commentators Andrew Coley and James Rimmer.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to this. I must admit, I'm quite enjoying the quad bikes, literally just over here. But on the first lap, there were the dudes who were rolling it, and then there were the guys who were just clearing the gaps. Like, it was great.
Yeah, you saw people jumping over other people, and I was like, oh my goodness, someone's going to get hurt out here.
Yeah, it was great. And then there was another dude on the start-finish straight here who stalled his quad bike right. So here we go, have a look at this. So some of them are flying it big time, like this dude. Yes. And this poor guy, the fans were there, he stalled the quad bike and he literally had to kickstart it for 2 laps until it went, and then he went off and the crowd were like, yes. So that dude takes the standard line, and then is this one going to fly it? He flies it. So it's great, option lines basically. Yeah. I quite fancy go at that, to be honest.
I think I'll stay far away from those. It looks like a death trap to me.
Not for James Rimmer then. He doesn't want to go. I would be up for that. I'd probably totally regret saying that.
I'll pick you up from the hospital.
Yeah, okay.
I'll bring your wheelchair for you.
So here we go, there's a flag out over here, which I'm pretty sure is the last lap flag right behind us. You guys can't quite see it, the marshal post is here. The dude's fist pumping down the straight. Takes the win. How many laps was that? Time 15 laps.
That
They've done
was a
15
lot
laps.
of laps.
And the speed down the start finish straight here on a quad bike is mad. It's mad. They're fully streamlined everything. Anyway, we're having a blast. Hope you guys are enjoying it at home. I know there's one particular party that is having a blast because I know there's a Team Fraz viewing party going on in Jamaica. So big up. I know who you're wanting to win. It's going to be close between Fraz and Conor Martel. It's going to be a good fight, isn't it?
It is. Actually, it's funny because Fraser's parents have made me promise that I'm going to come to Jamaica for New Year's if he wins the championship. So that's on the line there, and I hope to see all you guys at the watch party there, maybe.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure it'll be a big party.
We have a great race coming up.
We do.
It's going to be great. Neal was just talking to Conor, obviously, about some of his brake issues. Not fully fleshed out, but he's obviously been making do with it so far. So I think he's got a good shot. Fraz obviously is going to come out swinging.
Okay, well, yeah, going to be very interesting to see. We think that they were running different settings, don't we, in that last qualifying session because of the way the track was drying?
Yeah, I think they've all switched back to dry setups now. In the last one, there was a little bit of a mix-up between some people had rain tires on and a dry setup, some people had a wet setup and dry tires. Sort of a mismatch, so I think most people are back to dry setups. The whole track looks about like what it did this morning, so don't see any reason not to.
So pretty hard to tell what the form was like, but if you missed qualifying, here is a roundup for you. Start of the day saw Connor Martell and Fraser McConnell doing battle straight off the bat. It was Fraser McConnell who got the whole shot down towards turn 1. And despite Martell putting in some good laps, Fraz held on when it came to the joke lap merge. So first blood to the Jamaican. Race 2, Lane Vakala, our new driver in the blue and yellow ARX2 car, getting a bad start in this one. Cole Keats managed to get the whole shot. Michael Leach driving with a broken hand. So no such problem for Cole Keats in terms of broken bones, but a bit of broken pride there, clipping the tyre barrier on the inside. Cole Keats held on to the checker flag, but it was McConnell who won Q1. We had a big rain delay before Q2, and you can see here 2 cars stuck on the grid, leaving just Michael Leach to circulate on his own in incredibly slippery conditions. The young driver doing a good job to keep the car on the road. Fraser McConnell versus Connor Martell, with Cole Keats on the outside, the second race of Q2. And this contact here with Keats ran him wide, and unfortunately into the barrier. Cole Keats basically saying after the race he needed to watch his marks and keep his head together. Super sideways from Connor Martell. He made a couple of mistakes, then he gained some time on Fraser McConnell on the last lap, but it was McConnell who took Q2. On to Q3, and on a drying track, Cole Keats getting the whole shot ahead of Gray Ledbetter and Lane Vakala. Keats out front, put in some decent lap times. Gray Ledbetter, you can see, making a small mistake here, so it was still tricky. Some ruts out there as well as the drying dirt. And the final race of qualifying, Fraser McConnell racing down towards turn 1 with Connor Martell. Look at this, so McConnell goes super tight on the inside. He's got the whole shot, but somehow the ARX2 champion got up the inside. It was a great move by Connor Martell. At this point, we know they were running different settings. Some were on dry tyres, some were on wets, dry suspension, wet suspension. So it was Connor Martell who took the final race of qualifying, with Fraser McConnell close behind. Here are the standings then at the end of qualifying. Fraser McConnell takes the TQ with wins in Q1 and Q2. Connor Martell taking Q3 in those changeable conditions. Cole Keats is 3rd, Lane Vakala 4th, Michael Leach 5th, and Gray Ledbetter rounds out the grid in 6th. Well, great stuff through qualifying. I say that last session, well, the last 2 with that rain delay. I mean, if you watched earlier, we came on air for like 20 minutes, no, 2 minutes probably, didn't we? And then had to run away and hide in a porter cabin. But it's been great. It's properly dry now on the track. We can see some recovery vehicles heading back in. Even the dirt looks pretty dry.
It does. It looks about the conditions that we had this morning. Maybe the track is a little bit rougher in certain spots, like the inside of corners, like we were talking about. Yeah. There might be some ruts. But for the most part, you put on the setup that you had on this morning, you're probably going to do pretty well. Okay, cool. And we're looking forward to seeing. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing the Fraz and Connor Martell fight. You know, I'm so excited. They were so close last time out at Gateway Motorsport Park. It was, you know, a Worldwide Technology Raceway, to give it its official name, near St. Louis, but not in St. Louis, just over the river, which is complicated. But some great racing there between those two guys. Again, they swapped places a couple of times, and I say they had a good laugh about it in the press conference as well. They did, yeah. And these guys all know each other off track. They've all raced together and they've all spent time together, you know, out of the car. So they have a healthy respect for each other, but the competitiveness is not going to go away, especially with people like Connor, who's won a championship before, Fraz, who's been in the position to win a championship before, and now has the chance to capitalize on that. Competition's not going to go away, but there was some great racing in St. Louis, and we really hope it carries on out here. Fraz has taken 1 win already this year. Of course, he won one of our 2 rounds at Mid-Ohio earlier on in the season. We saw Connor Martell miss those 2 rounds and then came back and won both the rounds at Gateway. So we know Fraz has taken a Rallycross win now. He's been close to the front-running pace in ARX2 as well, which is the support category for the World Rallycross Championship. They used to come here, not at the moment because we've got ARX supporting us here over in Canada. So, you know, Fraz he made that move across to Europe to try and improve his pace. And actually we're seeing Lane Vakala's going to do the same thing. Now, you know, it's a big ask to go across to Europe and race against the very best drivers in RX2, and that's what he's going to be doing on that learning curve. France and then down to South Africa, in fact. Yeah, those are both difficult, so it'll be interesting to see how he finishes out this weekend, and hopefully if he ends on a good note, then he goes into those 2 World RX events, you know, with high hopes in his head and his head in the right place. Yeah, looking forward to seeing what he can do. So stay with us, the final's coming up.
cars are pulling onto the grid for our first final of the weekend. This is ARX2 round 5 from Trois-Rivières in Canada. Going to get that grid loaded, and then we are going to get ourselves underway.
You mentioned earlier that all these guys have made it through to the final. Obviously, we have 6 cars here this weekend because of a couple unfortunate cancellations. But like we were saying earlier, all the cars that were in the qualifiers have now made it through to the final. So that was all more about getting in the right grid spot for the final as opposed to anything else.
Yeah, you want the front row start. Fraz and Conor Martel have got that. Row 2, Cole Keats looking between the two of them.
That'll be an interesting matchup, absolutely. Those 3 are the fastest out here, so.
And of course, they're now starting in different grid slots than they've been starting in all weekend. Looking at it, I actually think that Fraz and Conor are starting on the row they've been starting on. So in theory, that section of track will be more rubbered in, but that doesn't always help with an ARX2 car. So we will have to see how this one goes. Here we go then, let's take a look at the grid for our first final of the weekend, the ARX2 round 5. Fraser McConnell on the TQ, Conor Martel next to him. It's been a great battle between them so far this season. Looking forward to another one here. Cole Keats and Lane Vicala on row 2. And row 3, Michael Leach and Gray Ledbetter.
Cole is in a really good position here. I think he could get a really good start and slot up in between those 2.
Let's see, off the line, green flag at the back of the grid, revs up, good to go. It's a long haul, but it's a very fast reaction time from Fraser McConnell. Fraser McConnell looks to have got the jump. He's on the inside line, but down to turn 1, Conor Martel's not going to give him anything before Cole Keats is on the inside. Cole Keats might get Martel here. Martel's going to shut the door. Gives him a big squeeze, going to try and go around the outside now, but Cole Keats is inside him. So Cole Keats gets past Conor Martel. Great job by Cole Keats off the start there. Michael Leach has made it up from the back row into P4. Lane Vicala drops down into P5, and it's Gray Ledbetter in 6th. So Fraser McConnell leads here. Oh, and a little move. It looked like Martel was going to look up the inside of Keats, but he backed out of it.
Cole played it really safe on turn 1 there. He knew that he would have the inside of turn 3 if he just stayed on the inside of Conor. He played that very well. Now he's going to have a hungry Conor right on him, though, and he's going to have to play this very, very clean, because if he doesn't, he knows Conor will pass at the first opportunity.
Fraser McConnell, eyes on the prize. You can see with the sun so low there, it's difficult for these guys to see, but we're getting a great view of the concentration. So this is tricky now for Conor Martel. He's either got to put a pass on him on track, James, or he's got to find a way with joker lap tactics. They're not going to send him if he's going to fall into the clutches of Michael Leach, Lane Vicala, Gray Ledbetter. Those guys are still learning these cars. These guys at the front, they are experts in these cars.
Well, this is where the strategy comes in. Like you said, you don't want a joker if you can get all this dirt and stuff in your face. So his spotters there strategizing. They're going to figure out if there's a good place. There goes Cole into the joker lap. I don't think he should have gone then either. Conor's spotter is in his ear telling him, Cole just took the joker, run clean laps, run clean laps.
The only thing I can think there is whether or not it was a team decision. The two cars are running with Dreyer and Reinbold Racing. You know, if they're thinking they want to try and take the win, and look at that, Martel's already closing up to the back of Fraser McConnell. Now he's been released, so I think that might be a team decision, James.
I think it might be. There's 4 Dreyer and Reinbold cars out there, so, you know, there is some strategy. Conor has passed many times at the back there on that hairpin, and I wouldn't be surprised if he gets up in someone's back there and tries to make a pass.
So Lane Vicala has just managed to put a pass on Michael Leach coming down past the top of the competition. You're looking at Fraser McConnell out front. Fraser now has got to keep a super calm mind. Look at that. Through the long right-hander, he's got the car beautifully balanced, but he is being hunted down by Conor Martel, the current ARX2 champion. It was 0.8 of a second, but that gap's coming down.
Every single corner, it's getting smaller and smaller, and Fraz is being told that in his ear, and Fraz needs to stay incredibly calm now, not overdrive the car, and not put it in a wall. He cannot do anything like that. Look at him. Conor is going to brake very late here. He's going to get right up on the back of him. Wow, great racing between the two of those.
So for me now, if Martel's up behind him, you know, he's got to look back at that gap. At the minute, Keats is 4.6 off the back, so Martel could get out in front of Cole Keats. You know, if not, he could be in danger if Keats puts in some good laps here. If Fraz is being super cautious, Keats could actually get the jump on them. So they've got to watch both ways now. Martel's spotters have got a job on here.
You're totally right, and they're right behind us, and I know they're strategizing as we're talking. Look at the driving style between Fraz and Conor. Fraz hangs it out, you know, the rally style. There goes Connor into the Joker. This has to be a very clean Joker from Connor.
So watch for Martel and the merge with Cole Keats. He's done it easily. So, okay, now, Fraser McConnell, for me, if I was his spotter, I would respond on the very next lap, because if you give Martel 2 laps to close the gap down, you're in trouble. And now is the time you get on the radio to Fraz and you say push.
Fraz is going to go as fast as he can down this half lap, and then he's going to try and do the cleanest Joker of his life, because he knows that the ARX2 champion is breathing down his neck.
Martel around that long right-hander. Fraser McConnell now surely preparing to take the Joker lap. Looking over my shoulder at his spot as he goes down to the big braking zone into the long right-hander. He needs every tenth here. The gap back to Martel is 3.5 seconds. So Fraser McConnell coming down to the braking zone. Here we go, James.
He needs to be really smooth through here. He's a little bit wide there, but I think if he can get this Joker, he's going to be really good. Here
McConnell
he goes.
into the Joker lap. Going to keep it tight and tidy on the inside. Around that long left-hander, he picks the revs up. Conor Martel is right there, but he's now going to get it into the barrier on the right. Great job by Fraser McConnell. Comes out in front of Conor Martel. And he got the job done when he needed to. He pushed when he needed to. So now he's got to defend, James, like mad for another lap.
Now it's an actual battle. It's going to go door to door, because neither of them can pass each other with the Joker anymore. The only way Connor goes way wide there. That's a lot of lost time.
That is fantastic for McConnell, who'll know surely. And if he doesn't, the spotters will be on going. You've got a gap. You know, people read the gap in car lengths. So it's a mistake there. And Fraser McConnell has a little bit of breathing space, but he'll be nervous.
He will be nervous, especially for this last lap, because as we know, back in St. Louis, Connor put it right up the inside on that last lap, on the last corner.
Yeah, he did, and Fraz wasn't happy about it. So don't bet against Martel. Yeah, look at him. Martel is sending it everywhere. He's getting right up behind Fraser McConnell. Fraser McConnell's going to try and keep the door shut. Watch for the ruts in this next right-hander. He's been talking about trying to avoid punctures all day long. Flames from the exhaust of the ARX2 car. Through the right and the left. So it was a last lap move last time for Conor Martel. Fraser's going to keep it tight on the inside. Martel's right there. He's right there. Fraz keeps it super tidy. And now it's a drag race to the line. Fraser McConnell coming down. He took a win earlier on this season, but he's going to take a win against the ARX2 champion this time. McConnell beats Conor Martel to take the win in Trois-Rivières. Big up, Fraser McConnell. There's going to be everyone. A big party going in Jamaica now. You can see the smile on his face, big relief. We know his family are here watching. We know his friends are watching at home, and McConnell has got the job done here against the very best in ARX2. That was a great race between the two leading drivers in this category at the moment.
Fraser and his team and his spotter did every single thing right on that race. They called Joker at the right time. He ran clean laps when he needed to, and he stayed out of trouble with Connor behind him. Incredibly impressive.
Absolutely. It's interesting how much he backed off to be careful of things like punches, and you could see Martel was able to take those risks in P2 because it's much nicer to chase. He hangs out the side of the car. Be careful, Fraz. You got a race tomorrow. There's Connor alongside him.
Connor wants no part of that.
It was a good race. It was a good race. Fraser McConnell very happy indeed with that, I'm sure. There's his dad. Yeah. His mum in the row too there up on the stands as well. Fraser McConnell wins round 5 of ARX2 2019 ahead of the 2018 champion Conor Martel. Cole Keats gets 3rd, so he's keeping the championship fight going. Gray Ledbetter up into 4th place. Great result for Gray there. Michael Leach gets 5th and Lane Vakela in 6th. Take another look at the start. So a slightly slow start again for Vakela, goes backwards here, but up at the front. It was actually, do you know what? It was with Cole Keats getting up the inside of Martel, that made things a little bit easier, didn't it, for Fraser?
It did, absolutely. It definitely kept Connor a little bit off of him, but great start by Cole, like we were talking about. He got a great run in there. You see Michael Leach and Vakela here, side by side, coming out of here.
Yeah.
That's a really good racecraft move, which he's learned from karting, and he's perfected, obviously.
Yeah, Vakela continues to improve, as does this man, Fraser McConnell. That Joker lap was tidy when it needed to be tidy. He was defensive when it needed to be defensive. So I think that's going to be a bit of a monkey off his back, considering what happened last time out when Martel managed to get him right at the very end. So this time, Fraser McConnell, it's his 2nd win, but it's against a very high-class competitor. Mega. What a great race. Thumbs up, you caught me. What a great race. James, that was fantastic, wasn't it?
That was great from the beginning. I mean, it's exactly what we wanted, a great race between Fraz and Connor, and they delivered.
And Keats back on the pace again. You know, Keats again, it seems to be up and down for me a little bit, Cole Keats. Maybe this season more than last, but, you know, we can see he's got the pace there. Great start, you know, to manage from row 2 to get through. And also with our second 3 drivers, if you like, the 3 who are learning, it's good to see them making passes and getting on top of the car on the loose.
It's almost like we were watching 2 races out there.
Yeah.
You have the 3 at the back and the 3 at the front, and that's great because it allows them to learn the racecraft that they haven't learned in those cars yet. So great to see that. But like we said earlier, consistency is key, and unfortunately Cole couldn't do that.
So you can see here post-event scrutineering. So Fraz's car is up on the scales at the moment and has to check that it meets the minimum weight. So there's a minimum weight for these cars.
There is, yeah, and if he missed any bodywork that was out there, if he was underweight, they're allowed to go back out there and grab the bodywork and put it back on the scale. But I didn't see any bodywork hanging off of there. As long as there's nothing fishy going on under there, I think it'll be great.
Yeah, good stuff. So just those checks to do, and then we're going to get these guys up onto the podium for a bit of a celebration. Fraser McConnell wins round 5. Great racing, fantastic racing. So very pleased to see it get away under sunny skies after the thunderstorms we had earlier on today. There was a bit of me that was thinking we wouldn't manage to get it away, but in fact we then found out there's no curfew here. You can race as late as you like. So I think that's what we should be doing, really. Some night racing, flames from the back of the cars and stuff. You know,
Don't you think we should have floodlights shining down under the lights?
The first year we came with the World Rallycross Championship, it was pretty dark by the time it was dusk by the time we got down to it, and it's amazing. You can see glowing brake discs and say flames from exhaust.
Oh, amazing.
We saw some flames at the back of Fraz's car. That's quite unusual for an ARX2 car.
It is a little bit, but you'll see them, especially when you're on the limit like that, when you're revving it out and you're at the limiter. Some of these corners, you don't want to shift up totally. You just want to hit the limiter and go back down. So that's probably the reason for that. But looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it looks very cool.
Not sure it's
very
fast,
cool.
but...
So no puddles out on track. There's still a few puddles in Parc Ferme, though. McConnell parks the uniquely liveried machine, a pat on the roof for it. There's the hashtag on the top there. Yeah, he's pleased. He's very pleased. I think this, for me, is a much bigger win than the one earlier this season. I think it's a more significant win.
It is. I think it is as well. You know, he was a little down after St. Louis when Connor obviously went up the inside of him, but you know, this is great. That's his mother. So Ish is his coach, longtime coach. They've been together forever. And look at the teamwork here. You know, Connor's part of the family as well. Connor used to race for the Dirtfish team, so everyone just as happy for Connor as they are for Fraz.
Yeah, it's really cool, isn't it? But Connor will have enjoyed that too. That's the thing. Connor Martell's a proper racer. And I know what he'd be annoyed about. He'd be annoyed about that mistake coming onto the straight. Well, he lit it up just a tiny bit too early, didn't he?
Well, I'll tell you something funny. I was getting texts from his manager before the race even started asking where the winner needs to go for podium interviews. So they were expecting that.
Yeah, but they know, don't they? They know that they're right in amongst it. You know, these guys. I think it was for them or Cole Keats. You're going to be preparing for that kind of thing. You're kind of preparing for every eventuality. And I think you've got to go into the final, whether you've qualified first, second, third, or sixth. You have to go in there thinking, I can win this. You've got to have the mentality to do it. Neal Cole is with our third place driver now. So let's head down to Neal.
Cole, it's a podium here in Canada for day one of ARX2. When the day started the way it did you expect to make it to the podium?
Yeah, I mean, this whole day was crazy. Like I said, it was completely my fault on the first one. I just was out there and all of a sudden smoked the tires. So, I mean, everybody makes mistakes, but I'm glad to end up on the podium. It's cool. Connor and Fraser up here. I mean, we all race each other in ARX2 and in ARX, so it's always fun to come up here. I mean, I definitely would rather be 2 up more, but I mean, we're going to reevaluate tomorrow, come in with a focused mind, and like I said, we just didn't really have the time to be setting up our car and focusing on the track just because I wasn't giving my crew enough time. But big thanks to Black Rival for getting me up here. I mean, they're the ones that put me out here, and then Dryer Ryan Bull putting the best car out there. So, like I said, we got some work to do, but I know we'll be fast.
Enjoy the podium. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, Cole.
Thanks.
He's happy enough, and of course he's going to move up to P2 in the standings because Alex Keys isn't here. He was 10 points back, but he will know obviously that Fraser beat him in, we're talking overall championship here, that Fraser beat him in qualifying and in the final. So I think it's by 2 points in quali and then 4 in the final, 8 for the win and 4 for P3. So that could have extended the lead by 6 points, I think. Connor Martell missed the first 2 rounds, but has been hammering in the results. Connor the Hammer Martell gets P2 here. He's with Neal Cole now.
Connor, great result to get P2, but it looks like you had to work really hard for that.
Yeah, I'm happy with the P2. Today was up and down. We managed to get second and a first in the qualies, which is awesome with how the car was. I mean, the car setup is amazing, and the team's going to change every single thing brake component-wise on the car tonight to try and get that situated. So I'm happy with the second place. It's awesome. You know, the Dry and Reinbold team did awesome. They did everything they could today with the time we had to get the brakes right, and unfortunately it was a little bit of a battle during the race, but that's it, and it's fun. It makes it a lot of fun. I'm super happy for Fraser. You know, we battled hard in St. Louis, and we battled hard today, so that's all that matters.
Enjoy the podium. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Well, let's take a look at the championship standings after round 5. Fraser McConnell extends his lead to 16 points over Cole Keats. Alex Keys, not here this weekend, drops down to 3rd place. Then it's J.R. Hildebrand, Brad DeBerti. Connor Martell is in 6th, so he's where he was, but the gap, look, there's only a few points ahead. Hildebrand and DeBerti are not here this weekend, so Martell could stand to move further up the standings here in Canada. Then it's Gray Ledbetter and Sage Karam. So I think, you know, with Connor Martell is in a position here potentially to get up to 3rd or 4th in the standings by the end of the weekend. So he needs another good result. And as you say, you know, he's saying the car isn't quite right, so maybe tomorrow he can challenge. But he's going to have to beat Fraser McConnell, as Fraser McConnell has taken round 5.
It's a win. You won the final. It was a lights to flag victory, but Connor didn't make it easy for you.
No, not at all. I mean, going into Q3, we had already had Q1 and Q2. So Q3, he come up beside me, and I wasn't going to risk it all in Q3 just for an extra 5 points. So we played it safe, played it smart, I think. And in the final, I just threw all that out the window. I said, I'm going to go for it. If anything happens, it's just full send from now on. So, and that's what we did, and executed, and got the full points for Dirtfish. That's going to really help in the championship. So, not worrying about too much championship now, but I'm just really happy right now. I don't know if I'm making sense.
And yeah, you are. And what does it mean to you to get a race win here in Canada?
Oh, I mean, it's complete redemption, full redemption. Last year was a nightmare of a weekend. And yeah, so I couldn't be happier right now. And this is pretty much what we came to do. And tomorrow, let's see if we can repeat.
Enjoy your podium. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, guys.
Interesting. Fraser McConnell keeps talking about we executed. Now, that's interesting to me because that means it was a plan which was executed. It's not we went out there and we smashed it, we won. When you use the word executed, it means you've had a plan and you've executed it. Am I right?
You're completely correct. This has been a plan since the beginning of the season for Fraz. He came off of last year and said, I'm going to get my driving better. I'm going to do RX2, I'm going to do ARX2, and I'm going to be a champion in one of them, if not both of them. And he is, like he said, capitalize on every opportunity he's had. He's had some mistakes, but he's mitigated how he's dealt with those mistakes and how big those mistakes are. So, very impressive.
Yeah, very impressive indeed. I say it's the change in attitude. It's the psychology of it too. It's the, you know, it's becoming the complete driver, which you see the top guys are. So yeah, great stuff.
He's well on his way to being that complete driver.
I think so. Up on the Cooper Tyres truck for the podium. Fraser holds the trophy up high. Oh dear, I think Cole has gone too early with the champagne there.
Rookie mistake.
Yeah, yeah.
I think he's only 17, though. I don't think he should be drinking champagne.
No, that's a good point. What's the law here in Canada?
Oh, maybe it is. 19 here in Canada?
Is it 19?
18 or 19.
Is it? What is it, 21 in the States?
Yeah.
Oh, man, you guys. The Cooper Tyres girls are up on the podium with the guys. They need to exit quickly if they don't want to get champagne spray. But there's usually a gentleman's agreement not to spray each other. And the reason for that, of course, is they need to wear the race suits tomorrow, James.
Some of them have 2 suits, some of them don't. So one of those suits, I guarantee, will be hanging in a trailer smelling of champagne tomorrow morning when they put it on.
And it's not a nice smell, is it?
It is not.
It is not a nice smell.
A very tame celebration from the boys here.
Yeah.
Compared to former ones.
I think the thing is they've got another day's work to do.
Yeah.
I think there's always an element of that. Yeah, okay, well done. But you now have to go back and reset, re-prep, get ready for tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow's potentially going to be a dry day all day long. Looking at the battle between these 3 as we got towards the end of the day, I think we can expect it to be fierce tomorrow, especially if Martel, does have the problems. We've got no reason to believe he doesn't have a problem with the car, and we know how fast Martel is, and Fraz will know that too. So, challenge on for tomorrow. So great stuff from the guys down there on the podium. We really hope you've enjoyed today. My thanks to Dan Rook, who was co-commentating, of course, on World Rallycross. Neal Cole reporting from the paddock. James Rimmer, great job. James back up in the commentary box for the first time since last year at Silverstone. So, really hope you've enjoyed it. Get on social media and let us know what you think about the results today. Did you like Fraz's win? Did you think Connor could have taken him? Who do you think's on for it tomorrow? Because, of course, we're going to find out who's going to win round 4 of America's Rallycross. We've then got ARX2 round 6. They've got a doubleheader this weekend, and don't forget that we've got the World Rallycross Championship competing here as well. So at the bottom of your screen, 09:10 tomorrow morning, local time for ARX qualifying through. We've got a whole nother day of ARX2. So thank you for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow.